Hello? Hold on. Don't bleed under my feet. Okay. See whether I can bring this a little bit closer in. I'll get it brighter somehow. Swap this for this. Perhaps. Okay, as ever, chaotic start to things. Hello folks, this is Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. I am Delta Mike. Down and out. A homeless guy, a tramp, a hobo, a down and out, a vagrant, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some might say a bum. What are the rest of it? A person who lives rough, a person who lives on the streets, or in my case, in a field. Hello folks. Here we go. Oh, Torrevieja, I should explain Torrevieja, city on the southeast coast of Spain. Okay, let me just, I think there was a message there already. Okay, there's my pinned comment. Sign of Nature says Amber Mike. Is that because of the orange t-shirt maybe? I don't know. Okay folks, it's been a week. I might get in trouble because of the music in the background. It's not me, YouTube. It's incidental. It's just in the background. I can't help it. There's a bar over yonder. Well, a kiosk. I think it's them, although it might be. There's a building there with a few apartments. There's a possibility it's somebody's apartment. Either way, YouTube, it's not me. It's just incidental. It's blaring out in the street, probably breaking all the rules for music volume at this time of night. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, folks, it's been another week, hasn't it? And again, it's a week where I've not really done anything. Certainly nothing YouTube, no YouTubery. I did a hangout on Monday night because I didn't do one Sunday night. But I haven't done any videos, I haven't really been anywhere. My legs are still a problem with these wounds. I'm down now to about 2 on each leg that are still slightly problematic. They're getting better, but there's one in particular that where the sock sticks to it, and every time I lift the sock off, it pulls like the dried scab away and reopens the wound. I've got some medicated sprays, so I'm not just putting alcohol rubs on now. They've got other active ingredients to help with cleaning and facilitating recovery. They've been working wonders, to be honest, guys. The number of the wounds that have healed over in the past week is pretty phenomenal. I guess another week or so and maybe these ones won't be fully healed, but they'll be well on the way by then. So yeah, that's just for anyone who's been following the story. Just for anyone who doesn't know, I went for a walk a month ago. I took my dog Tina out in a doggy wheelchair, in a doggy chariot, and we walked a kilometre and a half to a place called Tweety's for fish and chimps. Now I went in a new pair of shoes that I'd never worn before, and it turns out they were 1 or 2 sizes smaller than they state they are, and they ripped the shit out of my toes. I had blisters within blisters. I had blisters 2 or 3 levels deep, like a volcano of blisters. And when I then sat out over the next week, the flies were diving in for the open wounds of the blisters, but also every other scratch and graze. I'm living in a field. There's prickly bushes all around. Lots. I'm constantly getting little scratches and little wounds, and I guess the flies had settled on my legs, and they were everywhere all the time. It was peak fly season. Horrible things. And every little open wound I had, every scratch, every graze, every blister became an infected volcano of pus and blood. I just thought I'd share that with you. I had friends give me like antibiotic powder or antiseptic powder, alcohol gel, and now I've got this thing that's like an alcohol spray with a, like I said, with another active ingredient. And things are really clearing up at a fair old rate, except for the biggest, deepest ones, which are still clearing up. They're healing, just not as fast, like I said, because the sock keeps sticking to the as the scab dries, and then I have to lift the sock off, and it pulls the newly formed scab off with it, so it weeps a little bit more. That one's slowing a little bit more, closing a little more slowly, but it's getting there. We'll be there in a short while. Strong Quartz, good name. Good evening, Mike. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good, apart from these things with my legs. It's getting a little bit depressing that it's been 4 weeks now. I think it's 4 weeks, might be 5. You'd have to look back at my Tweeties video when I took Tina. I think it's 4. When I took Tina out in a doggy chariot for the first time we did distance. Yeah, it's a little depressing, guys, just being stuck here still after getting the doggy chariot. But my shins, my toes, tops of my feet and my shins have been hell for the last month. Got a couple up on my thighs as well, but there was a small scale, and well on the way to healing. A lot of them now are just pink skin, like new pink skin, and are healed. But I've still got maybe 2 that are really fairly bad still, on 2 on each leg. The other 5 or 6 on each leg are, if not fully repaired yet, well on the way. Another week and we'll be able to go out on a walk again, I think. Does anybody remember a few weeks ago when I suggested that my shoes that I was wearing were falling apart, and I said not to worry because I had 6 or 7 pairs of shoes? I've had 4 pairs fall apart on me within like 2 weeks. They were all shit. All I'm left with now is the ones that were mine way back in the beginning. If you remember back in the days when a bloke called Damien was around here, almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I'm back to the pair of trainers he bought me and a pair of walking boots, trainer style walking boots, or walking boot style trainers, however you want to put that. All the others, actually, I tell a lie, I've got 1 pair of slippers that I haven't even tried using yet, a pair of carpet slippers. But everything else was either too small or fell apart. I don't know. But it's been an interesting week. I've got so much food at the minute, folks. Karen did me a shopping trip the other day. Karen and her fella did a shopping trip. Asked me what I wanted. I listed a few things and they added others and brought them around. Then yesterday, my Spanish friend Adela came around and brought me a big jar of like stew. And then today, Josie, our friend Josie from chat here, Josie came around and brought me a carrier bag full of, there's 2 big wraps, like sandwich wraps. There was 2 paella kind of cartons. What else? Oh, there's 2 chicken, I think chicken breasts, pre-cooked chicken. There were 6 cold beers and a bottle of like a watermelon liqueur. Very syrupy, very sugary and syrupy, but also with a cream base. Very, very Moorish. Once you pop, you can't stop. Well, I did, but it was difficult. I drank way over 1/3 of it over like a 5-hour period. To slow myself down, I had to have like, I'd have a little bit in the glass, and then it was so Moorish, I had to stop myself, so I had to crack open a can of beer, cold beer, Never let the cold go to waste, folks. You know, had to crack open a cold beer and make that last like an hour and a half or so. And then I'd have a little bit more of the watermelon liqueur. Again, this much in the bottom of a glass, but sipping, but the kind of sipping where you don't like have a little sip, put the glass down and come back to it in a quarter of an hour. It's so nice. You're just sipping it almost continuously. Give me a second. I just want to check something. Just power up the tablet. Where are we? Not that folder. Okay. I think I just saw a message pop up, didn't I? Cheds. Paul, right? Hello, Paul. How you doing? And there's Roger. Cold beer, really nice. It is indeed. I think I was a little bit late starting, was I? But yeah. But I eat so little nowadays. My stomach's literally shrunk. I struggle to eat like I would have in the past. But I'm going to have to get cracking with this stuff, otherwise it's going to go off. Also, earlier in the week, my friend Anthony arrived in the country, I think last Sunday. He messaged me to say, well, I'll come round tomorrow. Monday and Tuesday he comes round bringing breakfast sandwiches, and on one day it was a paper plate breakfast for both me and Joby. A full Irish breakfast, and either on a plate or between slices of bread. Thank you, Anthony, if you're out there. He just got back to Ireland. I think that was yesterday, was it? I think that was yesterday, yeah. But so many people throwing so much food at me, folks. I'm literally, I'm like full up to here, and I gotta be careful it doesn't work its way back. My body's just not used to eating this much. It's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tricky. It's a balancing act to cram as much in as you can without having it backflow. So strong quotes, Roger, DJ Son there, cold beer, nice. There's Paul, Cheds, yeah. Better than having nout. This is true. This is true. I have at one time or another faced both extremes. If anybody remembers Breadpocalypse, there was a time I had far too much food. Lovely Ukrainian family kept bringing me bread. Like 5 baguettes and 2 loaves. And a bag of baps like 3 times a week. Honestly, I didn't know what to do with it all. Ah, really? I suspected this a couple of weeks ago. The loud music wasn't the bar itself; it was someone that parked at the bar with. They put the boot up, and got the big speakers, the big subwoofers and whatever in the back of the boot. So now the music's just driven off and stopped over here. So that's good. Less chance of me getting pulled for copyright infringement. Always feast or famine, mate. Yeah, often, yeah. There's Mr. Tombstone. Tom B. Stone. Parking lot ravers. Yeah, it is, yeah. They're probably going to pull over on the other side. There's a little cove here. They'll pull over on the other side of the cove, probably. But they did that a few weeks ago, and they were playing salsa music. Oh, man. half an hour of watching somebody dance a bit of salsa, I don't mind. There was a film once upon a time of people dancing. But when you've had like 4 or 5 hours of it over there, and then they move over there and just carry on with the same half a dozen tunes, not my kind of music, really. Beggars can't be choosers. Or as Keith Chegwin found out, cheggers can't be boozers. Paul's been given the internet for a miss for a while. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, mate. I'm going to say sorry to hear that, but possibly good for mental health and things. How's the dog? What to say? I'm getting strong hints that she's in a degenerative phase again. She's degenerated in the past and then stabilized for a while. I'm getting clear signals at the minute that things are getting worse. I can't go into details. Well, I could, but I don't want to. But there are. Let's have a look at her ladyship. For those of you that it is a tradition of the channel. Hey, babe. Hello, you. Say hello to the peoples. She has just had her food, one of those tins there. Only because I was too lazy to dig in and pull out the half bag of dry croquettes. So it was easier just to grab a tin. That's just my laziness to grab one of those tins. Can't leave them laying around. Will attract rats and mice and things. But here's Tina. Hey, Tina. Say hello to the peoples. Okay. There we go. She's okay in and of herself. No sign of any pain or anything. But her body is deteriorating from under her. I honestly don't know how much longer she's got. Having said that, in October and November of last year, I thought she would be gone by February or March. So she's doing all right. She's eating. There's no sign of pain. Ryan Vitruvian will be in my neck of the woods weekend after next. Okay, mate. I see you in 14, 15 days, however that works out. How old is she? She's 9. Is she? Oh, God. I think she's 9. I got her in the December of 2016, and she was about 10 months then. So yeah, she's from early 2016. We made April the 1st be her birthday because I'm a cunt like that. Making my little April Fool. So April 2016 to now is 9.5, isn't it? If I'm any good at maths, and I did used to be. Yeah. She's not old. It's not an age thing. I mean, that thing when she got kicked by the police obviously didn't do her any good. I just don't think that that's got anything to do with what I've said all along was a nerves. It's a deterioration. It's oh, I forgot. I used to have the words. My own Alzheimer's is kicking in and stopping me from getting the right words out again. That's kind of a joke, but it's neurological. That's the word I'm looking for. Nerve related. I'm fairly sure it's neurological degeneration. She's struggling with her front legs a little bit now, and there's other signs that she's not entirely in control of her body that I don't want for her privacy and just for the state of the conversation. There's things I don't want to go into, but you can probably guess. There's things that she's not in control of that she always would have been in control of in the past. and it's becoming a little bit of a problem. Tina will be good. She's full of life, kind of, but she's, if she loses the use of her front legs, then what is she? I mean, I can happily put a belt under her waist and take her off for a 5 or 10 minute ablutions walk. I'd rather do that than put her in the buggy, A, because if she poos and pees in the buggy, she's probably going to make a mess of the buggy, the chariot. But also, it takes kind of 5 or 10 minutes to get her into it. So it's not worth it for the quick pee and poo walks, you know. So I'm happy to carry the back end as long as the front end's doing its job and carrying a share of the weight. If she hasn't got the use of her front legs, then what has she got? If she can't scoot around, she wouldn't even be able to be in a chariot, would she? If the front legs aren't holding her weight up, then even her doggy wheelchair, her doggy chariot would be kind of useless. And that looks to me like like I said, we're in a degenerative cycle again. It's okay, babe. Daddy's here. I got you. I'll carry you as long as I can and as far as I can. As long as you can do your share. But I'll be honest, folks, if she loses her front legs as well, I think that's it then. If she can't scoot out of the tent when she wants. See, we've got Joby in the field here, my English friend in the field, but he's leaving tomorrow. She's gonna, gosh, she really does love her Uncle Joby. She really loves Uncle Joby. As soon as she sees him walk across here to a chair here, she's out of the tent and scooting, bum shuffling around. No, hey, it's okay. She's someone on a scooter. But he's moving out tomorrow. He's struggling to make a living here with his busking. She's going to move on. She's going to miss him. But the point was, if she can't scoot out just with her front legs, she can at the minute. She's getting she's losing hair on her chest because she's laying on it a lot. She's laying down all day. Whereas a normal dog would be on its feet half the day and then just lay down a little bit or sit down. She's not doing that. She's laying down most of the day, and she's pulling herself around and scraping the hair off. I don't think she's got long left. I hope she has. Like I said, I will carry her wherever she needs to go for as long as she needs to go. I do get angry with her sometimes. When we're trying to walk side by side and she's pushing me into the bushes, I've got all these wounds on my legs that I'm trying to heal, and she's scraping the top off them every time she pushes me into a bloody bush. See, when she could walk, she'd walk ahead of me or behind me and would come through single file through the path. But when I'm carrying her back end, obviously she has to be at my side. And then we're trying to come through a narrow bush with branches sticking out, and it's all a bit prickly, and she wants to not be in the prickly bush, so she pushes me into the prickly bush, and it's scraping the shit out of these wounds at times. But that's my girl. I love her a bit, so I will carry her for as long as I can carry her. I think I said on the Monday cast, the Monday hangout, I don't believe that vet's diagnosis. The vet that came around and that instantly had Tina yelping, had Tina like screaming in pain. Put a hand under her belly and squeezed and Tina, and then run her hand down the spine and found a spot. And I can't replicate all the manual moving I do with Tina, picking her up, moving around, carrying her around on a belt. Loop a belt under her waist, wrap it around my wrist twice, and pick her back end off the ground. There's no yelp, there's no pain, there's nothing to do with her back. I hate to cast aspersions, but I have a suspicion that she just nipped the dog to make her back. And then said if she's not better in 30 days, we'll have to think about, you know, ending it. Don't believe it. The number of times I pick Tina up, carry her around, move her around on the bed. I'm constantly manipulating her and carrying her and moving her and bending her, and never had pain. People, when Joby comes across and Tina comes running and bum shuffling out of the tent, when Karen comes around, today when Josie came around, there's no sign of pain. Not once. In like the 18 months that this has been going on and that she's been deteriorating, not once have I made her yelp by bending her or twisting her in an unfortunate way. This vet came along and made her scream twice in 2 minutes. Less, twice in a minute. I don't know, I'm not a vet, so I don't like to be definitive about these things, but a little bit suspicious. Paul says it hurt him bad when he lost his 20 years ago. Took him all this time to get a new one. Yeah, it's gonna rip the heart right out of me. First dog, I would never really had a connection with dogs before. I think I mentioned in the past, allegedly I was attacked by my grandma's dog when I was a kid. I don't remember it, but I remember hating dogs all my younger years until I was 10, 11, 12, before I kind of got over it. My first dog, possibly my last, I don't know. As a homeless guy, I would probably struggle to get another dog. They're not going to come and do a home inspection and and confirm that I have the financial wherewithal and the circumstances to be looking after a dog. I wouldn't imagine. I wouldn't imagine anybody at the kennel at the albergue thinking that I was a suitable prospect for looking after another animal. So even if I wanted to, even if I was emotionally ready to, it's not going to happen, is it? Shush, darling. Shush, shush. No. Be quiet. Tina. Quiet. Quiet. Be a good girl. Shush, shush. Where are we, folks? Let's move on to a more cheery topic. Morusk. Message retracted. And message retracted again. You got a problem there, pal. What's going on? Message retracted a third time. Let me just see what's going on there. You're not being deleted by moderators. You're just what? Mistyping something? Are you a bot? What's going on? Talk to me. Alan Katz channel. Hello, Alan Katz channel. I think you're new to me. I don't remember seeing your handle before. That was Paul Ched's asking how's the dog. Okay, that took me a while to answer. Okay, well, how old was she? There we go. There's Ryan saying he'll be in this area soon. She's eating, yeah. Tina will be good, mate. I hope so. Have you been in touch with the vet? No. Haven't had any contact with them since. And to be honest, I don't see they've got anything to offer. If, as I strongly suspect, it's neurological. And it bloody clearly is. I've felt it from the start. I was happy when we got a diagnosis, but then the tablets and stuff that they gave didn't achieve anything, didn't go anywhere. And then Tina's starting to deteriorate some more, which isn't in line with the spinal problem that they indicated. I think we're on our own. We'll weather it together and go through whatever we go through. This is the way. Whatever happened, she's been a blessing to me and to her. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got her when I had an apartment in my first year. I'd only been here 6 or 7 months when I got her. A little bit more. Maybe 9 months. So I've had her all those years. 5 or 6 in various apartments and things. And now 3 years homeless, isn't it? In a few days, folks, it'll be 3 years in this field. October the 10th is the anniversary of me moving into this field. And because that first night the field flooded and ruined everything that I owned, it's also the anniversary of wipeout, of when everything got knackered. And 1 month later, almost to the night, I think it's 1 month and half a day later, we had a second flood and a second wipeout. Nothing since. Well, you've seen my tents fall apart and rain get in and mice get in and all of that. You've seen all of that. But in terms of the field flooding, I'm worried this year because they haven't maintained the drainage channel at the top of the field. It's very, very overgrown. If water came running through that channel with debris, the debris would clog on the growth, on the trees and bushes that are there now, and then the water will spill this way potentially. So I am worried about that the local authority haven't maintained the drainage ditch. But 3 years in a field, folks. In, what's the date now? 26th to the 10th is 14 days, yeah? 2 weeks today, maybe. 10th of October. I think September's the 30th, isn't it? 30 days of September, April, June and November. Yeah. It's a silly rhyme. It took me 50 years to learn the order of those months. I probably got it wrong when I just said it. Can I get it right now? 30 days of September. I can't remember it. See, I told you it was a silly rhyme. April, June and November. Maybe. Fuck. There's no logic to that rhyme. What's happened, lovely? Have I missed something, says Claire? I was just been talking to the people here and telling them that I think Tina's entering a new phase of decline. She's losing control of certain functions, and her front legs don't seem to be holding her as well as they were. So we had a decline, then we had stability, and I think we're entering a new phase of decline. And there's nothing too bad yet, nothing I can't handle anyway. There's some things that people would say yuck about, but nothing I can't handle at this stage. But I think it's a downward spiral from here. But let's move on to cheerier stuff. I've lost 3 boxer doggies. I have a rescue one now. He's fantastic, Claire. Yeah. I can't imagine. I haven't gone through it yet, the loss of a pet. Never really been a pet person. Certainly was never a dog person. Tina girl. I know, babe, I know. Hey. I mean, the moment you take on an animal, you know you're going to outlive it. So you know you're going to go through that agony. And you can try and harden yourself to it. Try and be stoic. If you know it's going to happen, it shouldn't surprise you when it happens, and it shouldn't hurt you as much if you've already acknowledged it and accepted it. But that's a rational perspective, and people aren't rational. People are emotional. We're emotional creatures. Your doggy is family. And cats and other pets as well. For other people who are into other wee beasties. So you try and harden yourself, you try and be stoic, you try and tell yourself from the day you get her that one day she won't be there. But as you feel the time approach, that stoicism kind of crumbles. I don't know. We'll see. Excuse me, folks. I've been eating so much. I have got like a little bit of indigestion, a little bit of. Pepe loves living in a field. Pepe is gone. Pepe was the Spanish bloke. Maybe you mean Joby. She knows we're talking about her. You drinking, Mike? I am indeed. My friend Josie brought me 6 cold cans of beer in the bag with all the wraps and the chicken breasts and the 2 lots of paella, and oh, there was more. There's more. I can't even. This is only 2 days after Karen went shopping for me and got me a load of stuff. In between, Adela brought me a jar of stew, a big jar, just full of stew, and some bread to go with it. She also brought me half a dozen pieces of fruit of various. I think it was 2 bananas, a couple of peaches, oranges or big tangerines. Don't ask me the difference between a clementine, a tangerine, and a whatever the other ones are. What's the ones that begin with S? Anyway, they're not oranges, but they're big satsumas. Don't ask me the difference between any of those. They're the ones where the skin comes off easily, unlike actual bloody oranges, which are a pain in the ass to eat. So yeah, I have got alcohol tonight. Not as cold now as it was. Scotty 808. What do you think of Keir Cham's announcement? We're going politics. I'll try and avoid politics. I won't go too deep. Hold on. It scrolled back. What do you think of Keir Starmer's announcement of future UK mandatory digital ID scheme? Yeah, I've answered this one a few times in the past. I stand with a bloke called Winston, who was determined to scrap IDs after the war. And I'd always heard that he'd announced on VE Day that people should tear up their ID and throw it away, and that it was anathema that an in his words, it was an Englishman, but we can say a British person because sexist language back then was probably the norm. He thought it was an anathema that you could just be demanded ID on demand by, well, basically by almost anybody, soldiers, policemen, all sorts of people. He thought that was ridiculous, and it was a wartime necessity that he regretted introducing in the first place, but it was kind of a necessity to try and catch spies and things. I'd been told that he scrapped it on VE Day, but I've learned today that that's a myth, and that when he lost the first election after the war, the Labour Party kept ID cards in for the full term, and it was Churchill's, it was one of his, what do you call them? The pledges they make before an election, the things that they want to, there's a word, isn't there? And if they get elected, the things that are on their document, they don't get challenged. Traditionally, they don't get challenged by the opposition because it was part of it's what they stood on. It's what they, what do they call those documents? I can't remember. The election, I'm not going to get it. Manifesto, thank you, Scotty, yeah. Something in when it's in the manifesto and then the party gets elected, the tradition is that the opposition don't stand in the way of that, because the British people have spoken. That was what they were voted in on. And Churchill made a big deal of setting the people free when he got re-elected after the Labour Party's first term. So I stand with Winnie. I think it's anathema that an Englishman, sorry, Scots and Welsh and Northern Irish, British person, or a United Kingdomer. We don't really have a word for UK people. We have Britons, but that's people in Great Britain, which is just the three countries, England, Scotland and Wales. We don't have a word for UK-ish, UK-lander. But yeah, Churchill thought that it was anathema that ID cards were, it was part of Papers, Please. It was part of the fascist. It was part of Nazi and Il Duce in Italy, and it was part of their thing. Papers, Please. He wanted it scrapped. He wanted to set Britons free. And every attempt ever since to introduce such things has been a massive failure. You're talking about a 95-5 issue. 95% of people are fucking wholly against it, and 5% go with it, usually because they're lied to about what it will achieve. Here's my humble opinion on this one. We're told it will stop illegal immigrants from getting jobs and benefits and things. Except we all know that the illegal migrants will get off the boat and the government will just generate them an ID card. We just know that they're giving them fucking iPhones and top of the range Samsungs. Why would they not give them a fucking ID card as well? We just know that that's what they're going to do. So we're lied to and said, oh no, it'll fix this problem, it'll solve that problem, it won't. It won't. Because they're too soft with these people. Why would they not run them off a card? Give them ID. When they do, if they're giving them benefits and they bring the fucking doctors and nurses and opticians and dentists to them. You try going and getting an appointment with a UK fucking NHS dentist. They don't exist anymore, hardly. There's like a fucking 2-year wait. I got my face smashed in, kicked in the mouth, my real teeth and my false teeth all smashed to fuck when I lost the last of my real teeth. And I was entitled, because I was a victim of violence, I was entitled to a free pair of falsies. If I waited 2 years, 2 fucking years, and they're bussing the dentists, the doctors, the nurses, the opticians, to... There's no way they wouldn't give them a fucking ID card. They're just going... You know it, I know it, because they're too soft. I've gone off on one, haven't I? I said I wasn't going to go deep into politics. Suffice to say... Hey, Anthony, we were just talking about you. Suffice to say, folks, ID cards, not a fucking hope in hell. It will never happen. It cannot happen. Not when it's a 95-5 issue. When 95% of the population are against something, it cannot happen. Like when the poll tax had to be readjusted and reworked after riots. Some things are just so... I can't see how such an unpopular government can keep going with decisions that are 90-10 or 95-5. How can you be so out of fucking touch? It's like, hey, our reputation's in the gutter. What can we do to mend things? I know, let's find something that only 5% of people agree with and do that. Because that'll help. Arresting Kate Hopkins for calling herself a spastic. What the fuck? Spastic's a real word. Something that spasms. Spastic colon, that's a real thing. Now, she could have called herself a scoper, and it would have been just the same meaning. But when I was a kid, we ran around the playground calling each other spazzers and spastics all the fucking time. It's this thing, guys. Policing speech. Look where it leads. Once you police speech, you start trying to police thought. And police normal everyday behaviours. It's real fucking thin end of the wedge stuff. Now, a lot of people say that claiming something's thin end of the wedge is a one of those logic problems, a logical fallacy. It's a type of logic. It's not. You see thin end of the wedge all the time in politics and law. There's Anthony that was bringing me and Joby breakfasts pretty much all week long, wasn't it? Until yesterday when he fucked off home. See you soon again, my friend. There's no chance. It's all pantomime, Mike, scripted. Yeah. The reasons they put forward that they're scrabbling around looking for problems that an ID card can be a solution to, but their own behaviour will undermine it all. It won't stop illegal migrants doing this, that, and the other because they're bound to give them cards. If they're going to give them a fucking $2,000 iPhone, why would they not give them an ID card as well while they're at it? I think Keir Starmer might be the first Prime Minister that gets put against the wall and shot. I'm going to get arrested when I go back to the UK now, aren't I? Predicting, YouTube. Predicting, not advocating. I said, I think this could happen. He's so unpopular, he's so ineffectual. He's an absolute joke. He's turned the UK into a worldwide joke. We've got free speech, Mr. President. We've had it a long time and we do a lot to defend it. Katie Hopkins calls herself a spaz and gets arrested. Fuck you and your free speech. What the fuck are you talking about, you daft cunt? Absolute... Now I'm living abroad and putting up with the fact that the UK is a fucking joke amongst everybody everywhere all the time. You've reduced our nation to a fucking running joke. Did you see the woman that had the police come to her house? What was it over? She was an American. It was about tweets or Facebook posts or something, wasn't it? And the cop demands, oh, I won't take this any further if you apologise online, on Facebook or wherever. And she said, fuck that, I'm not apologising for shit. You don't get to come and police my speech. Joke after joke. So many of these cases of people being arrested over words. The police mix the word offence. If something's offensive, that doesn't mean it's a legal, technical offence that you've committed a crime. We're allowed to be offensive. I can say, fuck you, you piece of shit. I can say that. I ordinarily wouldn't. Unless you really push me to it. But you might be offended at me saying those words, and I'm alright. You can be as offended as you fucking like. Creating offence is not an offence. It's not unlawful. But our police seem to think it is. Oh, you're causing alarm and distress. Doesn't matter, mate. That's one half of the equation for a crime. Causing alarm and distress or harassment with a threat of violence that you are in a position to carry out, if you go with the rest of the law. So you've got one half, you've got one of the elements. But for it to be a crime, you have to have all of the elements. Basically, there's kind of three parts. Causing the alarm, distress, or supposed harassment. Harassment is not one event. They used to say you needed 3 for it to be like a pattern of behaviour. They now say 2 can be harassment, but one event is not harassment. Never, ever, ever. So, alarm, distress, harassment. A threat of violence, and let's say you're in a different country and you threaten the violence. It's like you're not in a position to carry it out, so it's a null threat, it's a non-threat. But a threat of violence that you're in a position, a proximity, let's say, if I say to your face, I'm going to rip the fucking skin off your, I'm going to rip your face off, and I'm standing there with a knife within a few meters of you, then you've got the proximity and the ability to carry out the threat. So the alarm, the distress, the threat, and the ability to carry out the threat. Hurty words over the internet isn't a thing, or shouldn't be a thing. That's not a crime. I have the right to offend you. Technically, you have the right to be offended. I don't control whether you're offended or not. You take offence, I don't give it. And if you're going to take offence, you might as well take a gate post and a gate. Hey babe, where are we going? No. Hold on. Let's see what you're after. Turn that around there, turn that around there. Put the light on, and what are we after? What are we frightened about? I don't see anything, babe. No. Is it a cat? Or a rat? Or a bat? Come on, shush shush. Come on back. Probably a cat. Okay, folks. I said I wasn't going to go off on one on politics. You guys game me. Offence is taken, not given. This is true. Let me just... Oh, do you know what? I've been missing chat all out. I was in live chat, not top chat. How many comments have I missed? You see, I didn't see Paul's there, Ched. I didn't see the fucking... Yeah. I didn't see that. That was hidden. There was Anthony. Absolutely spot on, Mike. Latest poll says 60% are in favour. Yeah, okay. No fucking way. 60% in favour. Maybe they're believing the stop immigration thing. It won't. You're being lied to. They absolutely will just line them up and hand out ID cards as people come into the country. They're just you know it and I know it. Any poll that says 60% in favour, I would be suspicious of. And here's the thing, folks. Shall we have a lesson on what fascism means? I guess we should. Now, when you look up in a dictionary the meaning of fascism, they will automatically say it means right wing, far right, a dictatorship. But one of the key elements is that media, big business, the judiciary, and the government all start acting hand in hand. There's a unity amongst them. Elements that are supposed to be independent. We're supposed to have an independent media, the so-called fourth estate. So the three estates are supposed to be, what's it meant to be? It's politicians, it's the judiciary, is it the police? The police, the judiciary, and politicians are the three pillars, the three estates. And then media is meant to be the fourth estate. These things are all meant to be independent of each other. When they all start acting in tandem would be two, but when they all start acting in alignment, that's one of the major elements of fascism. And the last 5 or 10 years, it's been very much that way. It's been very much that way. The way that the media pushes DEI, the way that they misreport things and underreport, reporting on the number of people attending the big rally, the big march the other week. The way that they use the term far right all the time, even when it's a bunch of women out with their kids. The way that they bend and distort facts when they're reporting. So the one of the protests outside the hotel, one of the first ones, the early one, down somewhere near Epping Forest or wherever it was, might even have been Epping. Tina, shush. They said, oh, there's this big far right protest and 2 people have been arrested. Deliberately conflating the arrests with the protest so that you think it's the protesters that have been arrested. No, it was 2 rapists that got arrested. That was the cause of the far right fucking protests. You wouldn't know that from reading the bloody newspaper. When the media and the government and the police and the judiciary and big business, which I guess the media are big business now, when all those things start acting in cahoots, that's more than half your definition of fascism. We can argue about whether something can be fascist but not right-wing. In my opinion, it can. I don't know. They stick right-wing in the definition because during the war, the entities that were fascistic were kind of right-wing. Allegedly. We can argue about whether Nazi, being National Socialism, whether that's left-wing. Gone off on one, folks. I'm watching the numbers drop. That's interesting. I hope you're all still out there. Democracy is a farce and so are nation states. Hold on. I gotta go there. Where was it? It's jumped. I don't know where that is. Politics is BS. I think in a lot of ways, yeah. Okay, I missed that, Tom, about your family cat making it to 18. Pansy, okay. You planted pansies on her grave. She made it to 18's a good age. 18's a good age. All the fruit is crap now in supermarkets in the UK. I wonder why that is. 2 weeks. I'll be honest, I've been a proponent for a while of, like jury duty where people are selected at random. I think we should have MP duty. where people are selected at random and have to do the 4 or 5 years. And then I think there should be like a drawing of lots or similar, and 50% of them get to stay on for a second term, and 50% of them, we should all be random. We might not even need party politics under such a system. You've just got a bunch of people giving their views, you know. Because I think the party politics system, and in particular the whip, where they get a salary for being an MP, but then like whichever party they're in pays them extra to vote in line with the party. That's corruption. You're getting paid 60, 70, 80 grand a year, whatever the number is now, as an MP, and then you start taking a second salary from the political party, who tell you where to vote and what to do. They decide whether it'll be what's called a 3-line whip or a free vote. How is that not corruption? You're taking an extra payment to not vote the way you want, but to vote in line with with some other group, some other entity. Don't like that. I would go for drawn at random from all the people, and you get what you get. Do MP duty for 4 or 5 years. 50% of you get to stay on at random, and another bunch get selected for the others. That would be my solution to it. I don't think politics is necessarily a problem. I think party politics is the problem. And we need to return to the days where when somebody makes a misstatement in Parliament, especially if they're a minister, they go, whoops, I got that wrong, I lied to Parliament, I'm ever so sorry. It was an honest mistake, but I stand down. We need to return to the good old days of kind of gentleman politicians, if you will. People of honour who say, oh, I misled Parliament, I must go. And if they deliberately misled Parliament, they should be locked up. If it can be shown that you knew, or perhaps you were reckless and should have known, that the thing you're saying is just wrong, jail. That would be my solution to politics, folks, certainly in the UK. What say you? Tina girl. There, I saw that again. Democracy is okay here. Tina, shut the fuck up. Democracy is a farce, and so are nation states in the 21st century. It's one state and an iron fist. Interesting take. It's one state. I think all these politicians and world leaders attending the Demos, the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, maybe. I think that should be stopped. If you're a British politician, you serve Britain. You only have one master. We can argue whether that's the British people or whether it's the king, who maybe serves as a proxy for the British people. I don't think you can serve two masters. It strikes me as odd the way that one country introduces some kind of new law, like the online safety bill, and then suddenly all around the world, everybody else is implementing a version of the same thing that same week. Who's coordinating that shit and why? Why don't they wait and see if it works in country A before they try implementing it in country B, C and D? Give it a couple of years. Wait and see what happens. Did it work? Did it turn the public against you? You're trying to stop a problem with kids and you get in the way of every adult everywhere. Is that right? I don't think they ask the right questions in the right way. I don't like the coordination by external forces. I think it's traitorous. I really do. You're supposed to be representing and working for the British people. And if you're working for big business, international big business, multinationals and conglomerates and whatever else, then you're not serving the British public, which is your job. If your job is to serve the British people and you've got foreign masters, then you're a fucking traitor. And we have ways of dealing with that. Back to the wall again. Line them up against the fucking wall. YouTube, predicting, not advocating. Just stating that we do have these outcomes for traitorous behaviour. Maybe it's time to remind the politicians of this. I don't know. I fear that we're reaching a breaking point where enough of society are against enough of the rules that have been brought in and the behaviours of the ruling elites, where things could snap, and a thin veneer of civilization that we have, and it is. You only have to look at other countries where it's gone bad in the past. Civilization is a thin veneer over a chaotic underpinning. It's waiting to burst through. Now, we've been very stable for quite a while in Western Europe. That's 80 years or so. But it might not last forever. It might not last forever. And if you keep going for these 80-20 or 90-10 decisions, you keep bringing in things that the majority of people are against. And I would still say, based on my chatting with people, places I hang out online, I think 90% plus are against ID cards. I don't care if some survey says that the world is all for them. I don't feel that. And I'm usually a pretty good barometer. I knew that that Brexit was going to go the way it went. I had that sense from talking to people in the pub back in England just before I moved out here. All of the plasterers and plumbers and electricians, the people that keep the country going. When polls were saying, "Oh no, it's an easy win. They're going to walk it. The Remain wins by a landslide," I knew it wasn't. And as we got closer and the numbers started moving more that way, I knew it was even more Brexit than they indicated. I'm not saying whether I agree with that or not. I'm just saying that when you're in a bar, when you're in a pub in England, and you're talking with the man on the street, you know, not the academics, not the politicians, not the people who are hyper politically aware. You're just talking with the bin men and the plasterers and the plumbers and the electricians, the bricklayers, the guys who maintain motorways and roads in general. Got a much clearer sense of the situation than the BBC News had. Anyway, folks, let's scroll. I'm scrolling. It's all pantomime. Democracy is a farce. Nation states are a farce. I think that's where I jumped off on the World Economic Forum thing. I do think that is traitorous behaviour. I don't think our politicians should be going to those things. Oh, it's jumped. There's Miami Rose. Davos. Yeah. Yeah, the long term, yeah, the personal privacy implication. Once you've got an ID and you have to show it everywhere, you want to get a SIM card, show your ID. They do that here. They will photocopy your passport when you buy a SIM card. Totally illegal now. It's been decided that photocopying a passport is illegal. Hotels have been getting done for it recently, but it's been the norm here for over 10 years that I know of. But when they do it in the UK, if you have to show an ID card and they record the ID card, and that info will get pinged to the government. This guy bought a SIM card, and a year later, when you've lost your phone or something, and you need to get another SIM card, and 6 months later your phone gets stolen out your hand, and you have to get another SIM card. Then you're going to be on a list of suspicious people who've bought 5 SIM cards in the last 2 years. You're going to get a knock at the door from the police saying, "What's all this with all the SIM cards?" They won't investigate the stolen phones and catch the bastards that have got them. But yeah, they'll be spying on you. Every time you're using your ID, it'll be pinging off to a database somewhere and being stored. Oh, on this date he was in that town, and on that date he was there, and half an hour later he was there. And it'll all be geotagged, and yeah, it's a massive invasion of privacy. Massive. Klaus Schwab. Hasn't he been replaced? Isn't he a sex pest? Probably an Epstein Islander, yeah? Makes you think. Hey, Mr. Sharafsha, Mr. S. Can't stay long. I probably can't either, folks. I was particularly tired before I started this. I only kept going because I'm ranting about politics, even though I said I wasn't going to go deep into politics. Let's move along and find another topic. Otherwise, I'll get myself in trouble. I'll say something about lining them up against the wall, and instead of being a prediction, it will sound like I'm advocating. Tina, let's have some quiet. Good girl. Thank you, babe. See, you can be a good girl. I knew it. I saw it that one day. I think it was a Wednesday. Probably about 3 years ago. She had at least one day where she was a good girl. I laugh every time I tell myself that joke. Have you been researching fridges? I did have a good look around, my friend, yeah. Only that one night, but I was amazed at some of what's available, especially the 12-volt ones. I'm not sure that they can do what they say they do. Some of them have a totally separate freezer compartment. It's like a proper fridge freezer, but running from a 12-volt socket. I'm assuming a maximum of 10 amps. These are proper with a compressor rather than the thermo. It's not a thermocouple, is it? Can't remember the proper word for like what's in my cool box. That hasn't worked for me. But no, these have a proper compressor. And I'm thinking maximum is 120 watts through a cigarette port. 12-volt port in a car or whatever. I just want a simple fridge with a little ice compartment. I don't necessarily want a like the 2-door fridge freezery thing. That seems like overkill for a guy in a tent. Maybe. But yeah. Peltier, that's the one. Thermocouple registers temperature, Peltier extracts temperature. Yeah. Don't get one. No, don't get one don't get one with a Peltier. No, no, no. Definitely a compressor. I just have to make sure that its maximum surge when the compressor kicks in is within the capability of my EcoFlow. Now Ryan Vitruvium there said he's coming down in a couple of weeks, and he has a fridge in his van, but he's got a EcoFlow River 2 Pro, I think it is. But I should be able to slot mine in and see, connect his fridge to my EcoFlow and see whether it powers it. And if it does, I'll take that as a sign that I should be able to make shit work. And at which point, I will probably buy one. Now, do it now while I've got the money. I know in winter I probably kind of sort of don't need the fridge as much. Nice to have. But if I wait until next summer, I'll probably have spent the money by then, won't I? So get it now while I've got the cash in PayPal. How's the weather there? What's the temperature? Is the tent holding up okay? Temperature. Let me get the tablet and see what the... I'm finding anything below 25 degrees feels cold. And I know as a Brit that sounds ridiculous. 22 degrees currently. Let me just confirm that that's up to date. 23:18, yeah, that's now. 22 degrees now. 22 degrees feels cold. Now I know those of you in Britain, and this is at like 11 o'clock at night. You're kind of going to be calling me a big wuss, a big Jessie for that, or whatever other naughty words we call each other when we're saying that we're a bit effeminate. Yeah, see, I have to get you... I've spent all summer getting used to being above 40 degrees inside the tent, at times heading for 50 degrees. So I've acclimatized to that. So now, as soon as we get noticeably below 30, 25 starts to feel cool. 20 will be cold. I have brought out a long sleeve t-shirt, and I am wearing long pants. That's not because of the temperature, that's because of the wounds on my legs. But yeah, it's still warm through the day. It still gets up towards 30 through the day, 27, 28, 29. Sometimes still hits 30. At no point is it not through the day. All that happens is the length of the day changes. I've sat outside Tweety's before now, a couple of days before Christmas, and seen the thermometer outside the pharmacy showing 30 degrees. Middle of December, folks. Well, back end of December, really. It's never cold through the day. You can still have lovely hot days. It's just the days get shorter. You only get like 4 hours of it being particularly warm in winter. Somewhere like 12 while 4 will be peak warmth. Outside of that, it's getting warmer and getting cooler, but it's the back end of January and into February before it gets actually cold at night. It's never cold through the day, not proper cold. Not proper cold. What was the rest of the questions? It was how's the weather? What's the temperature? Is the tent holding up? The tent's holding up fine, I think. The damage is mainly the dog. The zip on one of the doors is bust. Well, it's ripped from the fabric, and alongside it there's a vertical rip that I tried to patch with duct tape, but it didn't hold for more than a couple of days because the stresses that she puts on the wall. When she's asleep, she'll either push backwards into the wall, or she'll kick the wall, or as she's getting in and out of the tent, she doesn't always try and get in and out through the door. She's quite happy to try and push out through the fucking wall. Yeah. Yeah. Dog. Gotta love her. Got to love her. If I didn't, I'd have fucking strangled her. Tent's holding up okay. The tarp's not doing so well, so I don't think the tarp's going to be waterproof over winter. The big one that's on there now. Its main use was keeping the sun off through summer, so the tarp's hopefully taken most of the damage. Last year we lost the roof entirely after about 5, maybe 6 months of the tent being up. This year there's very little sign of wear and tear on the tent itself, apart from the aforementioned doggy damage. There might have been a couple of little splits, but a bit of duct tape here and there patches everything. So mainly it's good, it's holding up okay. It's overly full of stuff. I can't get in and out of it. I got the storage space that I've got and that I've used, and then people bring me a couple of bags of food here, and someone brings me another bag of food there, and here's a couple of crates of beer, and it all just goes on the floor, and I'm standing on it as I get in and out of the tent. I don't know what to do about that. Let's just hope it doesn't attract mice before I get to eat it. We did have mice in a few weeks ago. I killed 2 in one night, and that looks to have been it. I haven't had any sign of anything since. And I bait the traps about once a week, just as a test. See whether they can catch any mice before the ants clear the bait pot. Ants are the biggest problem at the minute. Fucking ants. I opened a pack of biscuits, and I screwed the pack tight. After I'd eaten half of it, I screwed it up, put it back in the box, like the open end down, closed the box, put the box up on top of a cabinet, and when I opened it the next day, the open pack is just full of ants. Oh, bastards. I took out 3 or 4 biscuits and just brushed the ants off and started to eat them. But after 2 or 3 days, the biscuits in the biscuits that are left in the pack start to look like they're falling apart with so much ant activity. They eat so much of the biscuit that you can't just wipe the ant away anymore. Ants, fucking things. Compressors away to your house and where they are. No, it's jumping. My wounds are slowly healing, yeah. Well, actually healing quite rapidly at the minute with the latest treatments. I was using the alcohol gel for a few days, and then somebody bought me like an alcohol spray but with another active ingredient, and things started to heal quite rapidly then. Yeah. I still have to go around and press on some of the older ones, and there's a little bit of goo comes out, a little bit of gunk, but that'll reduce over time. It already is reducing. Yeah. Tina's situation not changed. She's deteriorating a little bit again. It's yeah. You rewind and watch the earlier comments. I don't want to go through all that again. I hear deconomon drives off ants. Cinnamon, okay. Cinnamon. I hear lots of things. I hear lots of witch doctory things about driving off ants and mice and rats. If not, find the hill and pour boiling water. If you walk along this road, you'll see lots of little holes where the ants come up, and there's a little bit of dust around the hole, but it's not a hill per se. Odd question, but do you miss work? Yeah, to a large extent, yeah. I had my own business. I loved it. I did get sick and tired of it towards the end, so I came out here. But not having anything to do all day every day, and indeed not being allowed to do anything because I'm illegal, I wouldn't be allowed to work. It would be classed as tax avoidance if I did work. So just having to sit around and do nothing. I feel like I've almost finished watching YouTube. I feel like I've watched it all. I know that's ridiculous, but amongst the genre of things that I watch, amongst the type of stuff I follow, I mean, how many cookery videos can you watch? How many sci-fi alien invasion AI written stories can you watch? Yeah. So yeah, do I miss work? Yeah, I do. Even if it was like physical graft. I mean, I'd love to just go out and like swing a sledgehammer or a pick. That would be quite therapeutic. To just do something manual graft. After being an office waller, after being an office boy for forever, I do miss I do miss getting stuck in with computers and websites and solving problems and programming and all of that. I miss that as well. But I'm so many years behind now. I would be starting from scratch again if I decided to get stuck into all of that. So much to learn or relearn. Yeah, good question. Thank you, Sky. Let me see. I'll go back to talk chat. I'm back to live chat. No, I think that's me. $12 centigrade in or Celsius in Holland. Okay. Yeah, test Ryan's fridge. See whether my EcoFlow is up to the job. Okay, folks, I think I'm up to date with chat. Like I said, I'm not going to go too long tonight because I was tired before we even started. Anybody got any more questions for a tramp? How about the lurkers? I see there's more of you. There's only 2 or 3 people active in chat, but I see there's 12 of you out there. Thumbs up, folks, if you would. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate it. Thumbs ups are always appreciated, or a like, however you want to describe it. Is it a like? Is it a thumbs up? I don't know. You're right down there, babe. I'll for any latecomers, I'll give you a quick look at Tina when I can get the flash on. There she is. Hey, babe. Say hello to the peoples. Hey. You're really not interested, are you? She says, fuck 'em. She said, can't you see? I'm lying here and it's getting cold around me, she says. Hey, babe. All right, I'll let you off. Back to Mr. Ugly over here. All right, folks. Coming to the end of this can of beer as well. One more mouthful left. They've all gone quiet on me. Let me go no chat. Back to live chat. No, I think I'm up to date with everything. If there's no more questions, and I'm sorry I went off on one on politics. I don't really want to do too deep in politics, but there's just things happening in the world at the minute that I don't know. The UK seems to have a government that isn't listening to the people. And I don't know how long they can carry on doing that. We have a representative democracy. The MPs are supposed to represent the people. And if they're not representing the people, then what's the point of them? Hannah asks, how old is Tina? Oh, you see, Hannah, this was answered earlier. Tina is about 9.5, I think. I think that's right. She was born around the time I came to Spain. But we didn't meet for about 8 months. Hey, babe. I came over February 17th, 2016. Tina was born somewhere between then and April. She was between 8 and 10 months old when I got her in the December. Oh, my voice is going. I had this the other night. I totally lost my voice. I had a slight sore throat the day before, and then one night it was a little bit itchy, and I thought, oh, here we go, I'm going to get something. Next day it felt like it had gone, and then the next night voice went entirely. Woke up the next morning and you couldn't tell what I was saying. Tyranny. Keep talking about the tyrant, otherwise we're done. Yeah, not ready to roll over yet. I agree. If our representatives aren't representing, then what is the point? And if when we say you're not representing, we then get arrested. If you can arrest someone for calling themselves a spaz, what does that even mean? Who's getting offended? Where's the absolute... I lost for words there, folks. Who's offended? At a kind of a... She's not exactly a comedian, but she's a political speaker with a comedy edge. When she performs with Alex Belfield, for God's sake. If that's not comedy, I don't know what is. She called herself a spastic, or a spaz, and they arrested her. She didn't call anybody else it. She's not causing anybody else offence. Line the corners or edges wherever the ants are getting in, with the cinnamon. Okay, maybe. I think I've got spare. I've got a carrier bag full of spices, of all the different herbs and spices, and I rarely use them. And I got more cinnamon and nutmeg. I think what happens is every Christmas, when I was walking around, I would find these things. People will put a bag of these things out, and there's always 2 or 3 cinnamons and nutmegs and maybe a bit of ginger and what have you. So most Christmases I've made mulled wine. Or mulled wine and cola, or on one notable occasion just mulled cola. Heat it up in a pan and add the cinnamon and nutmeg, and I generally don't have like star anise or whatever, but maybe a bit of aniseed is a similar enough flavour. Totally unrelated plants, the star anise and aniseed, but they both have that aniseedy kind of flavour. Yeah, mulled wine, but to make it go further, mulled wine and cola. Mull the cola as well with the wine. And one time I did just mull the cola. Oh, it's jumping on me. Tombstone there, old Tombstone has heard of Alex Belfield. Yeah, he remember Joey D. I made the comment earlier, not earlier on here, but somewhere else. I said on somebody's YouTube post, it's all my fault because I was in the playground in the 70s, running around calling everyone a spaz or a spastic or a Joey. After Joey Deacon appeared on Blue Peter kids TV program, and we all Joey, you're a fucking Joey. Yeah, I was one of those kids. Literally the next morning, you arrived at school somewhere between 8:30 and 9, and between when you arrive and 9 o'clock, you're just running around the playground going, Joey. Terrible, really. Kids can be so cruel. But it's funny. Get over yourselves. Now, you know, if you've got a relative that's what did they rename it? The society was the Scope Society, but oh man, I've got no idea what they renamed Spastic to. Motor something or other. No idea, folks. I could look it up. Yeah, we all ran around the playground shouting Joey, yeah. We'd all be locked up now, absolutely. Ants don't like to cross talcum powder. Okay, I'll have to try and find some of that. Have to reapply it every time it rained. Yeah, inside the tent shouldn't be a problem. Copper tape against the ants. Interesting. Interesting. Where are we, folks? 1 hour 38 nearly. I think I'll call it quits on the 2 hour mark. Like I said, I'm a little bit tired. It's only a short one tonight, folks. Only a short one, sorry. Where was I? What about you guys? What kind of week have you guys had? Let's talk about you guys. How's the weather wherever you guys are? Mr. S has already told us the temperature in the Netherlands. I never remember where he is in the Netherlands. Copper tape, probably not. Talcum powder, maybe. I can throw that around. I'm not exactly sure where they're coming in. I presume through the door. Or the lead from the solar panel. It's got a separate little zip slot for the cable to go into the tent. Hold on. Tom B. Stone, Old Tombstone, says, I've been eating good. Frost night for the past couple. Next precipitation will be snow. Frost is arriving already. How far north are you in Norway, Tom? I think you're fairly north, aren't you? Don't think you're Arctic Circle though, unless you correct me and tell me that you are. If you weren't so lazy, you'd be off in a sheep pasture across the river looking for mushrooms. Are these normal mushrooms or are they a bit magical? I watched a few videos of people like growing their own mushrooms. And my mum did it when I was a kid. She took some soil and boiled it, added some fertilizer and some bone meal and blood, um, wet the soil, took some spores from a normal mushroom and sprinkled over, put a lid on the bowl, or it was like a wide bucket or a bowl, put it under the stairs in the dark for a couple of weeks, taking it out every second or third day just to damp it down a little bit, and she grew mushrooms like that. But I've been watching these videos of people taking like logs and drilling holes in the log and putting a bit of like wetting the sawdust kind of thing and putting a plug of that in, and then putting mushroom spores into the log and growing all these fancy different mushrooms. Especially if the log's not in too good a condition. Ideally you want a log that's starting to rot down a little bit. You got to keep them damp. But yeah, interesting stuff. Mushrooms. They're nice and they're flavorable, but they're not particularly filling because they're like 95% water. I grow turkey tail that way. Which way? The hole in the log. See, I've mentioned two different ways, and then you come in and say I've done it that way. You could be talking about just a bowl under the stairs or the log method. Let me do that. Where's my bin? I cannot see it for toffee. We'll have to approximate. Oh, that sounded like it missed. I'll get that in the morning. Oh. "200 kilometers south of the Arctic Circle." Tom's off looking. Okay. Magic mushrooms. Liberty caps. I don't know what that is. Mr. S has never tried special mushrooms. Me neither. I've never done any drugs other than alcohol. I've never even done nicotine, normal tobacco, nicotine. In a log, okay, yeah. That's interesting. I saw, when was this? I saw a video of someone taking lots of these kind of, well, they were kind of broken down logs, and they had like an underground, it's like an old bunker, and they lined the entire place with them and set like a mist or a mist, a fine spray, and get the temperature right, and keep it damp and dark, dark and moist, and they just closed the whole thing up and left it within a week or two, and they walk back inside and the whole place is just fucking mushroom. They just walk around cutting them off, but leaving them there because they'll regrow. Yeah, no, the whole bunker was just full of them. I think they had to wear respirators when they went in, like gas masks or whatever, because of the spores in the air. Yeah, it's fascinating. Basically walked in with a bin bag, a big sack, and just started cutting off and just filling bin bag after bin bag from this room full of decomposing logs. Fascinating. Okay, we had the Paul Stamets thing because of the guy on Star Trek Discovery. But yeah, that's a different Stamets. I remember us having that we've had that half a conversation at some point. Paul Stamets. Because they used a spore drive on Discovery, didn't they? All you needed was some mushroom spores and a tardigrade. A giant tardigrade. Those are fascinating animals. Animal. Quarter of an hour to go, folks. I'm going to wrap it up in quarter of an hour. Can you hear the racket in the background? Sounds like a bunch of teenagers on the cliff tops. Cheers. Cheers to the guys that actually hit the thumbs up. If that doesn't include you, I'll give you 10 or 20 seconds to hit the thumbs up. And I'll do another cheers to those of you that jump on that like button. Don't subscribe. Don't subscribe. Not until you've seen 3 or 4 of my videos at least. Just because I'm not for everybody. Don't want you subscribing and then never watching because you fall out with me. A subscriber that doesn't watch is a negative mark against the channel. It's the active subscribers that watch videos that do the good with the algorithm. Nobody else hit the thumbs up, I don't think. Cheers anyway, folks. They grew it on horse doo-doo. I guess it takes all sorts. They used to grow them in underground, grow mushrooms in underground quarries. Yeah, anywhere dark, if you can dark and moist. What's the old thing? It's the keep them in the dark and feed them bullshit. Where's the? Isn't that that's how governments treat their people, like mushrooms. Keep them in the dark and feed them bullshit. Something like that used to be a phrase. I don't remember the specifics. Obviously, I'm probably getting it slightly wrong somewhere, but it's that kind of thing. All hail to the algorithm. Algorithm. He was an Arab. It's named after an actual Arab guy. During the so-called Dark Ages, after Rome fell, it was the East that kept mathematics and science and things alive. And it was a bloke called something or other Al-Gorit or Algorithm, something like that. And I believe that's where the word algorithm comes from. Basically, it's based on the guy's name. At least in the universe that I came from, that was true when I learnt it. The Large Hadron Collider might have done its thing and slid me into another parallel universe where things that I used to know are now wrong. Like the Winston Churchill thing, where I'd heard that he told everyone to destroy their ID cards on VE Day. And it turns out it was like 4 or 5 years later. I'm sure in the universe that I grew up in, it was VE Day. It's the, the wrong timeline. The Mandela effect is what some people call it. I think it's the Large Hadron Collider, folks. I really do. I think it got me. Kept in the dark and fed on shit, yeah. It's not entirely true because bone meal and blood is an acceptable acceptable food for mushrooms. I'm not sure whose blood or what's blood. I assume pig, maybe beef, cow's blood, maybe. I don't know. Don't know what kind of fertilizer it is, or yeah. But I do remember that. I also remember, like, my mum sterilised the soil first. Right, if you've ever put soil in a pan, no water, just in a pan, and heated it up, oh my God, the stink! Oh, because she didn't want other stuff growing in the, in the mushroom bucket. You don't want worms, and you don't want any insect larvae or whatever to hatch and come out and eat your mushrooms before you get them. So she sterilised the soil as a first step. But man, did the house stink for, I think, for weeks afterwards. She had to do quite a few pots of it. Man, I will never forget that smell. Oh, it's vile. Never sterilise your soil on your own, in your own house. Do it in somebody else's. Take it to a neighbour's. Fuck. Cocoa choir? Is this the matting from not from the coconut shell, but from the husk? Is it coconut or cocoa as in chocolate, as in the cocoa bean? I don't know what that is. Cocoa choir. Can't even pronounce it, guys. I've lost the ability to read. Cocoa choir. Don't know. I use coconut, so it's it is the fibrous husk, not the shell, but the. Sorry, I'm falling asleep over here, says Mr. S. I'm sorry, mate. We're calling it a day in 8 minutes anyway, because I'll be falling asleep otherwise. Although whenever I do this, whenever I decide to close it down early, we suddenly get lots of viewers at once. Them's the breaks, folks. Sunday I will endeavour to do a TrampCast proper in the afternoon, as long as the weather's with us. And Sunday night I will try and do another hangout. Probably outside again. Pretty soon we might start doing the hangouts inside the tent. I don't know. I don't know how much I fancy sitting out as it gets cooler at night. And I know by most people's standards, like 22, 23 degrees is not cold. Just is to me. Like, even now I'm the wrong side of comfortable. I could put this long sleeve t-shirt on, but I think it'd make me look a bit like a bit of a Jessie. Oscar's off too. Did I even know you were here, mate? Hold on. Oscar's leaving before I knew he... Oh, I'm back live. Who knew? I'm going in 6 or 7 minutes myself, folks, so yeah. Thanks for joining. If you need to leave now, feel free to dip out. For those of you that hang on to the bitter end, I appreciate you. Every extra minute of view time helps the algorithm, but I don't know, I've got too much to say really for the next 5 minutes, but cheers, Mr. S. See you Big Clive and Scruff Dog tomorrow maybe. Oscar's off. I didn't know he was here. I think I owe you an email, don't I, Oscar? I don't think I replied to your last email. I've been a bit down recently. I haven't been as sharp with the emails and even answering PayPal donations. I think I've got a couple outstanding where I haven't thanked people. And Tom, Mr. Tombstone there, I think might be one. I think he sent me some and I haven't... I think I said thank you on stream, but I don't think I've acknowledged actually within PayPal. It's okay, Tina. Tina. It's okay. I think it's okay. That way? No? That way. What do you got? What are you barking at? I don't see anything, darling. I know you've got better eyesight than me. But you can't go chasing after it even, can you? You're okay, babe. You're okay, I got you. Oh, I got light in my eyes. Okay, folks, where are we? 5 minutes to go. Hey, hey, hey. I'll definitely get around to it, Oscar. I'll have a catch up with you in a little while. Tina, shut the fuck up. It's Yobs over the other side of the bay, the other side of the cove. Okay, folks. Any final questions or topics? Anything anyone wants to know in the next 5 minutes? As I said, I'm going to try and do a TrampCast proper on Sunday, and I'm hoping to do a few through the week to try and get back on top, because I must be almost 2 months behind by now. That's my first job. I have to identify where we got to. I don't know which the next one is. Last week I didn't even make any notes. This week I think I got as far as Wednesday. I don't think I've made any notes since Wednesday. So I've got to backfill the last couple of days. It's all very... I'm bound to miss shit out as well. I've had so many visitors and so many donations in person so much help in person this week. I'm bound to forget someone or something, which I hate. Makes me feel like such an ingrate. See, the bag of food that Josie brought today, I should have done a separate video just on that. You know, when I do the Tramp Says Thanks kind of videos, greatly received, I think is the name of the playlist. Guys, in the description to this video, to all videos, there's a list of playlists. I highly recommend the Gratefully Received playlist. That's where people have donated things to me and I do a video. I don't always do one. It needs the right mood, the right weather, the right donations. But I definitely should have done one today on Josie, what Josie brought. And even what she brought a week or two ago when she first arrived out here. Yeah, I'm not doing right by people. I should be doing more thanks videos. I'll see what I can do about rectifying that in future. It's possibly too late now with the ones that have been brought because I've eaten half of them. It's difficult to do a video showing what people brought me when I've eaten half of it already. I am full. I said before, I am so full. Over full. Stuffed myself. Probably not much, not by historic levels, but while I've been homeless and eating less and less, and your stomach shrinks, you can't eat as much as you used to. It used to be that I could eat like forever. I could have eaten 2 portions of Tweeties. Now I struggle to finish 1 portion. Yeah, no. Hey babe, we're gonna go in soon. Let's we got just over a minute before we finish this. Tara, Oscar. Tara. Does the foreigners, do you know Tara? Tara is an informal way of saying goodbye. Not to be confused with ta, which is an informal way of saying thank you. These might be northern. I don't know if these are more northern. These might be just Yorkshire. I don't know. I don't know how specific they are. But ta for thank you, and tara as goodbye. I say them to people over here. I say them to people that are not English, forgetting that they're not going to have the foggiest what I'm talking about. Which is most things I say, really, isn't it? Okay, folks, we've got about 20 seconds to go. Let's see whether we can end this in the tradition of the channel. Hey, Tina Go. Where are you? Here we go, folks. So, Tina. So, from Tina. Jack attack. And from me, Delta Mike. Out. Catch you later.